It's been a long time since I left you, but now that it's time that I met you. Hello, YouTube. It's been a while. Black Sun Goku back. Although it's been months from me before any of my viewers or subscribers have heard from me, I will continue forward with this new deck profile. It's a Mekk-Knight spam deck. No worries. I won't take too long. I'm going to try to get to the video and get straight to the point. Now, continuing forward, I would like to bring up 3 Phantom Sky Blasters, a unique card. Before it wasn't that much that it has gained a rep, but it's gained a huge amount of repetition due to the link mechanic. Now that it's become relevant, so because you need to spam as many tokens possible to get into your higher link monsters, and rating is a factor in this game. Depending on the number of monsters you have, the powerful the monster you can summon. And beside him is another link spammer. We got 3 Cosmic Compass. He does the complete opposite of Phantom Sky Blaster. He's more of the associate, because what happens that it applies to what your opponent controls in the field based on the number of monsters. And you get to special some monsters up to the number of monsters your opponent controls, but at the same time, although it has to be normal summoned to do this, or even flip summoned. No, it can't be flip summoned actually, but basically it's still extremely useful, because now even if it's in face-up attack mode, you can immediately summon Link Rebo. That way you can avoid it getting hit and taking the certain amount of damage whether your monster will attack this card. And the lady in charge, Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, might not be too big, but it's slow, but at the same time can help you reach into your ace link monsters. You got, with the Mekk-Knight engine, we start off with 2 Mekk-Knight Blue Sky. Some people suggest 3, but 2 is perfect because it can be also pretty bricky, and it's not as much of a huge searcher. Well, it also depends on the number of cards your opponent controls in their column with this card. And the bigger the mass searcher of the Mekk-Knights, we got 3 Purple Nightfall. Having it at 3 is perfect because he is the card that'll help you pretty much max out all the Mekk-Knights from your deck to your hand. You got the Mekk-Knight Red Moon to get rid of your monsters. You got the Mekk-Knight Yellow Star to get rid of your opponent's spell and trap cards, and you got the Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse, whether to manipulate your Mekk-Knight monsters by moving them into certain main monster zones. And then moving forward, Perform H Hat Tricker, Damage Juggler for your Brilliant Fusion combo, whether you want to search for something other than the Hat Tricker, or you want to, or that means that includes the Perform H Trick Clown, because depending if whether you have the Seraphonite on board and you want to be able to normal summon another monster, if your hand isn't reliant on monsters. I already mentioned Perform H Trick Clown, and usually people suggest 1 Gem Knight Garnet, but decide to play 2 copies. It's mainly because although it seemed like a brick, it's another beat stick, and that's only if when I hopefully I could try to get to my Brilliant Fusion play, not as fast as possible, but for it to even occur, as long as I make sure I have 1 Garnet in my deck, just in case. But the 2 is in case 1 is in my hand and I already have to make sure 1's already in my deck. And then for the final monster on board, we got the Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode. 1, it's another Dark Hole and Raigeki, and there are times where I can't do anything, especially against floodgated monsters. And a card that I would play at 3, but it's at 1, Sky Striker Mecha Horner Jones for instant Link Rebo. Dark Hole for obvious reasons, getting rid of boards. Soul Charge, which is mandatory. And then I would like to give my own choice of the tech of my deck. 2 Moon Mirror Shields, simply because this is it blends in very well with the Mekk-Knights, And plus, because anytime it's face up, if it were to leave the field, you could pay 500 life points, either place on the bottom of your deck or top of deck. But it's only if it's into the graveyard, because I forgot to mention that. But this helps because this helps you manipulate columns for the Mekk-Knight engine. And you want to make sure Mekk-Knights have the chance to be able to get special summon uh, as long as there's a spell in your hand or a trap. But traps are bricky, so for obvious reasons, Pod Desires, because you want to make sure you increase your hand slot. 3 Billion Fusions, like I mentioned, to go off on your spam with all the other monsters. Another card is obvious, Monster Reborn. Although it wasn't a huge hit, you got 2 Scapegoats, because now pretty much it is a very slow card, but it immediately gets you your Link 4 monsters. But even a 2, there's no reason 3 will even matter. So 3 Mind Control, simply for if I want to just take my opponent's monster, get rid of that problematic monster, and then be able to link summon to Link 2 or certain higher monsters, or even get into my Nightmare engine with the draw ability. Force the one, Greg Raigeki, which is the best out of Dark Hole and Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode. The one evenly matched might not be the best card, but it helps if I'm going first turn and I want to ensure that I get rid of my opponent's first board, huge board. That includes Floodgates too, with the whether it's regarding Paleozoics, because that's one deck that I have always resent. The 3 Impermanence, which is my favorite tech, the only hand trap, the most powerful hand trap at 3 that I have in my main deck, simply because I know my opponent loves to go off on me, so I'll make sure to turn them off. And I just make sure they only keep going till their board isn't reached at their full potential. Moving forward, we go straight to the extra deck. 1 Gem Knight Seraphonite for the extra normal plays, which you expect from using Brilliant Fusion. 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Nightmare Mermaid, 1 Nightmare Griffin. Although I hardly see anyone use this card, this helps a lot simply because another Link 4, another strong monster. Plus, it's like playing Skill Drain. It gets you that. It lets you take a spell trap card regardless if you discard it. Lets you send it. Plus, if it's calling, you get drawn another card. Like pretty much all the nightmares can do, except the part where where it negates everything with monsters and letting you search from your graveyard. And of course, the big best monster, Borreload. I honestly, he's definitely one that can't be hit. He's a huge struggle against a lot of monsters. He makes a lot of decks seem to suffer when playing FTKs, OTKs, as long as you get him on board first. One, because he is immune to monsters that target. And second on board as the vice captain, you got the Firewall Dragon to help you with your infinite loop plays. Just keep going. Whether you want to just keep special from your hand. Anytime any of the monsters linked to it are sent to the graveyard or destroyed by battle, by reply, whether it applies to your opponent or not, this benefits everything applying to the main deck and extra deck. The Mrs. Radiant one, if you can combo off with your like I mentioned, Cosmic Compass, because the tokens are just have the similar attribute. Saryuja, because we want to get increased draw power. He may be stronger than Firewall, but he's there because he's important to the deck for whether you want to just keep getting as many cards that can help you build your hand, special summon, and just you want to have those monsters that can be able to reach you into even something stronger, whether it's an extra link or Link 4 other than it, that can like help you just retrieve everything you just lost using the mana resources you had before in the beginning of this game. The 1 Link Spider, for obvious reasons, to co-link with your nightmares. Another nightmare is the Phoenix to get rid of spell traps. The Cerberus to get rid of the your monsters and the main monsters and the main monsters from the main monster zone. You got the Triple Burst. People are probably going to be confused why I put this in the main deck. It's very generic. Another Link 3, plus it's able to do piercing and plus it's one of those cards that can negate anything while this, whether this card attacks or any other monster that activates the effect during the damage step. And then the final, there's more to than just the final card. You got the Link Rebo, which is one thing you want, especially if you're playing a lot of tokens that special summon Link level ones. And plus, anytime he's on the field, there's nothing bad about him. He's always the best having on the field. And then last Link monster is Wii Witch's Apprentice, which is the final card of extra deck. Some people will be confused why, but Phantom Sky Blaster has been a thing. You immediately get this card. But this is so hopefully you can open more slots for Link monsters in the main monster zone, or whether it's for the Seraphinite to continue even going to your even higher Link monsters. Moving now for the side deck, pretty straightforward, simple Imperial Order, 2 anti-spell fragrance, 3 draw and lockbird for the obvious reasons. If you're facing against Sky Striker, any deck that deals with a lot of searching. 2 evenly matched for, like I mentioned, I hate Floodgates and Paleozoics. 2 Called by the Break, I want to play 3, but now it's assimilated for whether because now they want to make room for Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. The 2 Red Reboot, because I already mentioned I hate Paleozoic, and anything that has a huge board in the spell and trap card zone, with how they wind up with the Floodgates. The 1 Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode, in case I don't see the other, my main deck, which I would hopefully it would increase the odds. Finally, 2 Shared Ride, because Sky Striker is, there's no way Sky Striker will get slow unless more cards would get hit, but the draw, just the amount of utility it has is just beyond it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a like, subscribe. It's Charles. Hopefully maybe I'll try to do another video. See you next time.